Alright, let me start by stating that I was already at the legal age of 21 when this happened. Alright? Alright, let's begin.
You probably don't know me.
Hey, you probably don't know me, but my name's Sept and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I post beauty, lifestyle, and digital art like videos, so if that's what you're into, please do not hesitate to subscribe and turn the notification bell on to get notified about all new videos. I don't know, I'm so nervous to even start this if I put it out there in the first place for you guys to vote. If you follow me on my social media, specifically Instagram, as you all would be like my next video to be, and the majority of you voted for a story time and voted for that story time to be about the first time I got drunk. So here it is. When I was 21, I was both at my highest and at my lowest, alright? I was not being totally honest about what I was doing, where I was going, who I was meeting up with. During this time, I was attending community college. I was actually at the end point of my journey in community college. I was preparing myself to graduate and transfer across state and begin a whole new life in Santa Cruz. Now, being that I was in community college, I had to commute. My college was 15 miles away from where I live. In LA terms, that would be 30 minutes away from where I live. Luckily, I had my car, Jimmy. Yes, I named my car Jimmy. He was my mode of transportation, alright? And trust me, I used them well. The only downside about having Jimmy was that parents expected me to be home at certain times. Alright, there was no excuse for being late if you are your own form of transportation. Which meant I could not be hanging out all nights of the hour with my friends, alright, regardless if I was legally an adult. I was to be home at a certain time. There was no reason for me to be out at all hours of the night. At least in my parents' eyes, alright? My one responsibility was school, work, and that's it. Now, my parents were strict, but they weren't stupid strict. They let me hang out with my friends and all that, as long as they were during decent hours, alright? And when I say decent hours, I mean being at home no later than 10. Which was difficult considering most of my friends would be hanging out past midnight. Most 21-year-olds do, because you're out having a good time with friends or whatnot. You know, you're out dancing, you're out having a good time with your friends, alright? So that was something difficult to do. Alright, so my camera battery died on me, so I had to switch. Sorry. Alright, yeah, so at least now in my parents' eyes, I had to be home at a certain time all the time. I was that one friend who would have to go home 2 or 3 hours before anyone else had to, because I had a curfew to meet. Alright, cool. I found ways around that. One of them being school. Now, around the time I was turning 21, I was finishing up all my classes. I think I was taking maybe 2 or 3 classes, but not that much. My class schedule was basically had class Monday to Thursday, Mondays and Wednesdays. I'll be done with school by 3 p.m. and go straight to work. While Tuesday and Thursdays, I had a late night class that would finish at 10, which meant I'll be home at 10:30. Now, keep in mind, I'm in my early 20s. What does an early 20-year-old want to do? Go out and hang out with their friends. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to go out, hang out with my friends, not have to worry about my parents, not having to worry about my curfew or any academics or anything really, and just go have a good time. What my parents did not know was that I only had that class on Tuesday nights, which meant Thursdays I would go out with my friends and hang out, right? Sorry, Mom. Alright, I wasn't doing anything like bad or crazy. I was mostly just go out and hang out with my really close friends and my now boyfriend. So on Thursday, my schedule looked something more like this. I had a class in the morning that would start around like 10 o'clock, I think, and it would finish by midday. After that, I had my whole day free. My only other engagement was this club that I was a member of, but it also happened to be where all my close friends were at. So really it was just more of a hangout sesh that we would have. Again, during this time I was going through some very emotional dilemmas, which caused me to push out a few people from my social circle. I wanted to distance myself from everyone and for once focus on myself. So there were only 2 people who really allowed me to do that, and that was G, who you probably know as Le Mans, but during this time he was Le Friend, and our close friend Robert. Right now, Robert isn't his real name. I'm gonna keep the names here anonymous or give him nicknames or whatnot. I mean, this particular story is nothing crazy. The only crazy one is me, but that's it. Alright, so Robert, short Rob. So this is where the story truly begins. It was a Thursday afternoon around like 5 o'clock or so. I was wondering what I was to do for the next 6 hours or so. My parents and I still had a late night class to go to, so I couldn't go home too early. And G actually had to go home early for once, which left me with Rob. Now Rob and I were cool, like we were gonna find something to do. It was like no worries. Rob suggests I text my really good friend. Let's call her Olivia. We knew she should be the one person who'd be down to go hang out with us and whatnot. We just had to see if she was free. I'm like, hey Olivia, what you up to? Like, what are you doing? She tells me she's out hanging out with a few friends. I asked her if I could join. She's like, yeah, sure. We're actually out here in the parking lot about to crack open this bottle. Me being of the legal drinking age and having nothing better to do, quickly agreed to go meet her up. God doesn't even give it a second thought and quickly walks with me to the school parking lot and meet up with them. So we cross the street and we get there, and Olivia's in her car with her 2 friends, we'll call Chris and Alex, and one of our really close friends who I will call Oscar. So we hop in the car and Olivia quickly hands me over the bottle, and I look at it and I'm like, and she looks at me and she's like, what? And I'm like, this thing's empty. There's like nothing in there. Like there is enough in there for maybe just one other swing. Like that's it. And so I look at her and I'm like, Olivia, how long have you been out here drinking? She's like, not that long. We barely just got here. Like that bottle barely had anything either way. Like if you want, we could go buy another one. I look at her, I look at Rob, and we just all silently agree to go buy another one. Now Oscar had not been drinking up to this point, so we all hopped into his car and went down to the nearest like Ralph's or Vaughn's or whatever, grabbed the bottle we wanted to buy, purchased it, and headed back to where we were at. I head over to my car, and my car has a trunk where like it opens like this, so like kind of like a pickup truck where you could like sit on it, and like the glass on top kind of opens like that. So it's like a great way to like hang out and chill with friends. I really love it. Now Olivia and her friend had already been drinking by the time I got there, so Rob and I had some catching up to do. So we quickly open up the bottle and take shot after shot after shots while we quickly catch up to the rest of them. Alright, Rob quickly begins talking to Olivia and her friends while I catch up with Oscar and see how he was doing, how his classes were going, how work was going and whatnot, and just start having a good time. The bottles being passed around, we're all laughing, smiling, catching up, having a really good time. The more it went around, the much more louder and emotional we were all getting. I mean, Olivia was here chatting up with her friends, telling them how much she's gonna miss them, how much she loves them, how important they are to her in her life, which was very un-Olivia-like. Olivia is one of those people who you would find at the library all the time, okay? She was always studying, always finding a way to maintain on track. She was focused, she was driven, alright? But that didn't mean she didn't know how to like have a good time, okay? She knew how to have a good time. But seeing this side of her was very unrealistic, like, because again, usually I would have to be home at a certain time, so I would never see it get to this point. But anyway, as I'm seeing this interaction, I start realizing how much we all have had to drink. And I remember I had not had a single thing to eat all day. Normally my first meal of the day would be early morning the breakfast. But that day I had woken up late and I was in a hurry to get to class, so I didn't even have breakfast. which I was fine with because I knew I was going to probably be eating after with my midday meeting. But that did not happen that day, seeing that G had to leave early. Okay? So you already know where this is headed. I look at the time, and it's 7:30 p.m. We're out here in the parking lot, pretty much drunk at this point. And it's barely 7:30 p.m. Oh my god. Okay. I need to stop drinking. I need to cool down. Cool down because I'm starting to get pretty buzzed. I'm starting to feel that buzzing, warm feeling in my stomach, and I cannot be driving home drunk. No. And of course, as I'm telling all this to Oscar, Olivia comes over with the bottle in hand and starts telling me how much she loves me and is gonna miss me, how important I am to her in her life. And Buzz Brill is over here like, really? No, me too. I'm gonna miss you so much too. And as I'm doing that, I reach out and grab the bottle from her and grab the bottle away from her. Now, I could have taken that bottle out away from her and given it over to Oscar, who was not drinking and was the sober one among us, and have him take care of it. Instead, I grabbed the bottle and took another few swings of it and then gave it to him, which admittedly was not the smartest idea. This is where it starts getting a little fuzzy though. Like at some point, I don't recall why exactly. I think my head started just feeling very like fuzzy and whatnot. That I hop into one of their cars and I sit in the back and just resting, and I begin to just rest my head and trying just to like kind of wind down and relax a bit. But that doesn't seem to work, and I vaguely recall popping open the door and puking on the side of it. Olivia quickly comes over and makes sure I'm okay, tell her I am, but I just felt a woozy, I feel a lot better. Get out of the car, Oscar's checking up on me as well. Everyone's like double checking, making sure I'm good, and I was like, yes, I'm fine. Suddenly I have this really big urge to go pee. And the nearest restroom was on campus. And after what just happened, I knew none of them would let me go alone. So I go over to Oscar and quickly tell him I have to go to the restroom and ask him to come along with me. He quickly agrees and we're like, yeah, sure, let's go. And I'm walking over, don't remember the precise conversation per se, but somehow the question about me being able to do a cartwheel came into question. Oscar strongly doubt I could perform a cartwheel. Drunken Bro was like, what you talking about? Of course I could do a cartwheel. Watch me. Oscar's like, okay. I quickly walk over to this grassy area that there was nearby, fix up my jeans, and attempt to do a cartwheel. Obviously, considering the amount I drank, I did not do the cartwheel that we were supposed to, alright? If I have a video, I'll put it up here. Yeah. Fail. Anywho, Oscar walks me to a woman's restroom. I sit down and pee. And as I'm sitting there, I feel my body leaning a little this way. And that's when I finally admit to myself, girl, you are drunk. Alright? If sitting down I cannot sit down straight and I'm sitting sideways, like that's a clear sign. You know, girl, you're drunk. Anyways, I finished doing my business, pick up my jeans and everything, walk out and wash my hands. I go like this because once I went over to wash my hands, I turn on the faucet and merely rinse my hands. Listen, I was drunk, okay? I washed my hands after using the restroom. Just this particular moment, I did not because I was not sober, alright? So don't come at me. Anyway, Oscar quickly spots this and he's like, whoa, bro. And I'm like, what? It's fine, it's cool, let's go. And he's like, no. He's like, bro, wash your hands with soap. please. Oscar is MVP actually, because he walks in, turns on the faucet, delicately put my hand in, puts some soap on it, and makes me wash my hands, as any friend shouldn't. So thank you, Oscar. Anyway, I wash our hands, and we head out, and as we're walking out, started feeling a little wobbly. Alright, I'm not walking the way I should be. I'm looking myself. They had this building, and the building has these windows that were reflected. So we're walking past those reflected windows, and I start checking out, like, myself out and see how I'm walking. And through the reflection, I see Oscar coming around me, holding me from the side, like from here, and starts pushing me towards the parking lot. Alright, I could not walk. I was seeing it through a reflection. I was doing like this, or like, you're like, okay, I was like, oh shit. I was like, I'm sorry, I cannot walk. He literally had to drag me out of that building, and not just the building, like across the street. Remember, parking lots across the street, so people were in their cars seeing Oscar dragging me over. I honestly have no idea how not one of those drivers called 911, because although Oscar at the time was like 20, he looked like a grown man. You know, he's a young man, but he looked like a grown man. A lot of people often mistake him to be a lot older than he actually was. So imagine a grown man pushing little old me across the parking lot. Like, I don't know. I'm honestly surprised how no one called 911, honestly. Anywho, we get to the parking lot again and meet up with the others. And Olivia takes one look at me and already knows I'm gone. Your girl is gone. I wasn't seeing doubles, but the fact that I could not walk on my own, I mean, that's bad. Alright, that's the red flag. Considering I had to be home within a few hours. At this point, it's like 8 o'clock. So I had to be getting in my car around 10 to already be heading home. Alright, and I cannot do that in this condition. So the only solution I could think of was heading over to my car, opening up the trunk. Remember it like lays down like that. Opening up the trunk and laying down and try to sober up. As I'm laying down, I vaguely recall telling them how I haven't ate anything, and so that's why I'm pretty gone. They're like, I don't know, you gotta eat something then. Like, we'll go to McDonald's across the street right now and grab you something to eat. And this is where it gets really, 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 really fuzzy. And I know I said this before, but this is really, really where it gets fuzzy a little bit. At a certain point in time where this all happened, somehow I started texting Gene, and I don't recall how I started texting him. But basically, Gene knows I'm drunk, and he did not want to have anything to do with it. Like, he was not in there for that drama. He was out in a family event. He did not want to know anything about it. So at that point, I know Gene's like pretty upset with me, and for some reason, I cared that he was upset at me. During time, I just did not know. I did not understand why my friend was upset at me drinking. Like, I'm 21. I'm a grown adult. You know, like, it happens. Like, it's fine. Like, it shouldn't be a problem. Anyhow, I get up and I start telling Oscar and Olivia how G is upset at me and they're angry at me, which, I mean, would have been fine or whatever. Like, they wouldn't have cared. They would have just tried to calm me down. The only problem was that I wasn't saying G's name. I wasn't even like mentioning him at all. I was mentioning this other friend that I was in a dilemma with. I don't know, Amy. All right, I was saying that Amy was angry at me. All right, they're confused, and like, I mean, I'm confused at this point telling the story. But anywho, I grabbed somebody's phone. Like, I don't even know if it was my phone, but I got somebody's phone, and I attempt to text Amy and explain and say how, like, sorry I am or whatever. But I don't even text Amy. All right, I ended up texting Olivia's boyfriend, I think, or somebody else that was at least somebody else who was not Amy, about Amy, apologizing to Amy. You know, it was all confused. I even ended up confusing people, basically. Anyway, while that's going on, Audrey comes over, takes away the phone that I have, and tells me, and tries to explain to me that Amy is not angry with me. Nobody's upset with me. You know, everything's fine. And I'm just like, okay, fine, yeah. I decided to just lay down and try to sleep the alcohol off, sober up, because it's 8:30 at this point, and I need to be getting sober to be able to go home. Alright? So I go ahead and lay down. I look over at Oscar, and I tell him very strongly, wake me up at 10. Alright? Because at 10, I have to be going home. Alright? Please wake me up at 10. He goes, alright, that's fine. The moment I lay down, knocked out. I wake up to Oscar and Rob trying to wake me up because my phone is ringing. My mom is calling. When I tell you your girl got up so fast, she got up fast. My mom's calling me. Fuck, and I'm like, what time is it? And they're like, it's 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. I told you waking me up at 10. 11 o'clock? Yeah. I was 30 minutes past my curfew, alright? I was 30 minutes past the time I had to be home. I was like, holy shit. No wonder my mother is calling me. Like, I don't know how I feel. I'm low-key like panicking inside. I'm panicking inside. I'm angry as hell that they did not wake me up sooner. I am still freaking drunk. But I cannot react to any of that because my phone is still ringing. All right, ringing with my mother's name on it, calling. Hello, mom. Yeah, hi. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah. No, yeah, I'm fine. I'm so sorry. I was late talking to my professor. I had to talk to my professor after class. Yeah, I had this question about this final coming up, and time got away from me. I'm on my way home right now. No worries. Yeah, it's fine. I'm cool. I'm fine, mom. Am I sure I'm fine? Yeah, I'm sure I'm fine, mom. No, I'm cool. I'm good. I'm on my way home right now. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. I forgot to call. I was about to call you right now and tell you right now. Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah, I'll be home soon. Bye. As soon as I finish that phone call, I quickly hop off the car, close up the trunk, turn around, and look at Oscar. Like, Oscar, I need you to take my car and park it across the street, like somewhere where I could stay overnight, no problem. Alright? I need you to do that, and then I need you to drive me home. And he goes, okay, yeah, no worries. I say, yeah, I can do that. Here, keys, I'll go. And he, Oscar quickly goes to that. And while Oscar quickly goes find a parking spot for my car, I quickly look around looking for Olivia and the rest of them, and they're nowhere to be found. I look at Rob and I'm like, Rob, where's everyone else? No, it's like, oh, Olivia went to go take Alex home right now. Like, she's on her way back. I was like, wait, is she good to drive? He's like, no, yeah, she's good. She's sober up already. She's all good to drive and whatnot. I'm like, all right, cool, that's fine. Call her, let her know that Oscar's gonna drop me off. And I was like, oh shit, I have to drop you off too. I'm sure he would drop you off. He's like, Robert's like, yeah, no worries, don't even worry about it, it's fine. He's like, here, I got you some McDonald's. Remember, my commute is 30 minutes away from my home. All right, it's 15 miles away. So the fastest way to get there was through a freeway. And that's exactly what Oscar does. Now remember, Oscar has not been drinking during this whole time. Am I right? He was basically our D&D. Quickly comes over and we all hop in his car and start heading over to my house. As I do that, I pull out my phone and start checking my messages. And I see this message from G. And it goes, hey, it's like, hey, did you get home okay? Are you good? And I'm like, no. Like, no, I'm not okay. I'm on my way home right now. Oscar's doing me a favor, drop me off. So I'm on my way home, and I'm feeling all sorts of feelings. All right, I am nervous. I am anxious. I am frustrated. I am all over the place. All right, we're on the freeway at full speed ahead, trying to get me home so I don't get in trouble. Now I'm trying to sober up, try and come up with some sort of more legit excuse or storyline that I could tell them for any questions that they're about to ask me, if anything. Now, the only way I could get home quick enough was through the freeway, and I had to take 2 to get home. So one of them, it had like this bunch of curvy sides, while another one is more straight. Anyway, I'm hurrying up. I'm still here trying to manage these questions, texting him, letting him know what's going on and whatnot, when suddenly I feel this familiar tingling going on in my stomach. The freeway we were on it just had a bunch of like loops and whatnot, and my stomach was just not having it. Okay, luckily our entrance to this other freeway was about to come up, and I knew that freeway did not have any loops like that whatsoever, so I just holding on my breath for that. And like the moment he changes freeways, and it's like, oh no, Oscar. He's like, what? Oscar, you gotta pull over. I'm like, Oscar, you gotta pull over. you got to pull over. Mind you, Oscar's in the freeway. There is no place to pull over, alright? There's no such thing. It's either you exit or keep going. There is no such thing as pull over. You know, he was in one end of the freeway and he quickly starts trying to go slowly, you know, quickly but safely pull over to the side to get to an exit to let me do what I gotta do. But I couldn't. I poked my head out, and right when he is stopping and pulling over, it all just goes out. Alright? I mean, if you've been following, you know, you get my drift. Oscar stops, make sure I'm okay. If I'm good, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Keep going. I gotta go home. Keep going. And he steps on it, alright? Alright. We get into front of my house, and I quickly grab my phone, my keys, and I'm like, okay, thank you guys so much, bye. Close that door, run inside, walk up to the door, take a moment for myself, try to wipe whatever's on my face. I don't have my own room, alright? I sleep in the same area as my parents and my little brother do. I don't have that luxury. I have my own room. So I walk in, all the lights are turned off, everyone's asleep. It's crazy quiet. And quietly close the door behind and goes. And I slowly make my way inside, knowing full well my mom is probably still up. And sure enough, she goes, Abril, ¿ya llegaste? Like, okay, trying to walk the street. And I slowly go over to my yes, Mom, it's me, sorry. I lost track of time talking to my professor. My apologies. And I'm just about to turn around when she lifted up her arms and pulls me in to kiss me goodnight. And that's all she said. They're like, what? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna go to sleep. Good night. And I quickly go change and like head to bed. But yeah, that was the first time I got drunk. If you're wondering, my dad never found out about this till now. If he ever comes across this, sorry, Dad. I'm good though. I passed my classes, didn't I? I ended up telling my mom the story a few months after, right before I was about to leave to Santa Cruz. She claimed to not have any idea of me being drunk that night. She was actually more surprised than I was that they didn't realize I was drunk. So, yeah. I know this was a long one. Hope you enjoyed it. I had a really good time sharing it. If you'd like to hear more about these drunken stories, or any other story for that matter, let me know in the comment below. Be sure to be following me on Instagram and Twitter, where you see more of this behind the scenes and whatnot. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!
You probably don't know